The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
Good evening, this is Paul Cooney. Start of a new week, and what a week it's going to be in Europe. Let's check in on the two superstars with us tonight. Young Barry Ferguson. Barry, how are you?
I'm good, Paul. I'm good.
Well, we tell everyone what we're talking about just beforehand about the skincare there, but you've had a good weekend.
Yep, I had a good weekend. Met up with a few of my friends on Saturday. Hadn't seen them for a while, so good to catch up with them. And then watched the football on Sunday.
So much down south. Up here, of course, it was Dundee winning the derby. Charlie, you were there. And if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that Charlie's got the sunglasses on. Some surgery that you wanted to have over the weekend. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm alright, aye. Looking a wee bit like Macho Man Randy Savage, but I was just looking how young you and Barry look, and that's why I went for the surgery. I'm trying to get to look used to.
You feeling okay though? You
feeling great. Listen, don't feel sorry for me. It's cosmetic. I chose to get it done.
It's the blef rather than the bluff.
Aye, here are the bleffers. All good. It'll be a short recovery. We'll be alright in a couple of days.
Good. Charlie will be with us on Thursday evening, back in today. Barry with us tonight. We're going to take your calls. Funny weekend, wasn't it, Barry, with only one game in the Premiership? We know with the Championship kicked off Friday night, Dundee winning the derby there, but it was so different 3 weeks into the season. And
it was a strange weekend, Paul. As you said, being that early in the season, you're expecting to have games over the weekend, but the clubs chose to cancel the games and prepare for their big European nights.
Can I throw one in right away, given that English football kicked off at the weekend for the Premier League? Ollie McBurnie, let's discuss. He played so well, bullied Man United. Why is he not in the squad?
Well, I'd be absolutely shocked if he's not in the next Scotland squad. I watched the game against Manchester United. First and foremost, I thought Hull City, were excellent, thoroughly deserved it. And McBurnie up top ragdolled the Man U centre backs, but no, he's a player I've always liked. I don't know the reasons why he wasn't in the squads. I'm sure that will come out pretty soon. Him and Steve Clarke, I don't think seen eye to eye, but for me, he's got to be a certainty to be in the next Scotland squad.
I think he'll definitely be in it. I mean, time will tell, but I think Steve Clarke had his settled team, and he didn't want to disrupt that harmony in the squad. I'm not saying McBurnie would have done that because I've played with him and he's a good guy.
What is he like?
He's a good guy. He's a lively guy about the changing room. I just think Steve Clarke, McBurnie had been in before in the squads, and I think when Steve Clarke got his settled team, he did not want to disturb that. So Andy that potentially could have. Again, I'm not saying McBurnie would have. I just think he wanted to. He was really, really careful who he brought in. I think he'd done research, spoke to the boys. I think he spoke to whoever was going to potentially come in the squad, and if somebody was going to come in, I think McBurnie said that if he was going to come in, and Steve Clarke said he wouldn't be a third choice, he would see him if you're going to be first choice or nothing. So in other words, if you're not good enough to play every game under me, then I don't really want you in about the squad for whatever reason. Steve Clarke had his choices, but I think that he should be close to getting in the next squad.
And this would probably be the time now with Paul Cooney, the new manager. Bring him in, give him a chance in the campaign coming up next month, Barry.
I don't think it's give him a chance or a gamble. He's an experienced player now. He had a really good season last year for Hull. He scores the winner in the final, and he's carried it on at the weekend against Manchester United. So yeah, I'd be very surprised, Paul, if he's not included.
Barry and Charlie are here. 0808 17 17 700. What do you think about Ollie McBurnie? We will talk Scotland later in the programme, and also the under-21 coaches have been revealed, and it's Tony Docherty and Stephen Naismith. And you were with Doc at the weekend up at Dundee. What a job he did before with Dundee early on. He's been elsewhere, Aberdeen assistant to...
Yeah, he's coached for Scotland before when I was in the squad. Gordon Strachan brought him in. He's a good coach. He's a good guy. He did say he was close to a job happening, didn't have a clue what it was, didn't want to dig too deep in it, and obviously it was 21's job, so him and Naismith partnered up for that. That'll be good for the 21's. I think it was time for a change, and they two are good coaches coming in to take the country forward.
Scott Gemmell was there for so long, Barry. It's such an important position, isn't it? If you're coaching the under-21s, the pipeline of the new McInnes, McTominays and co, we're looking for them, we need them.
Yeah, you want to see young players progress for the under-21s into the senior squad. So, yep, Tony Dock, listen, he's got a real good name. I thought he'd done a real good job at Dundee. Then he went to Ross County. It went a bit pear-shaped for him, but good to see him back in the game. And obviously, Nazy's been about the international scene for the last number of years under Steve Clarke.
European week coming up. Rangers will play on Thursday night, so too will Hibs, so will Motherwell, so will Hearts. But Celtic flew today to Austria. Last tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock, Charlie. You'll be desperate to get back into this. 3 goals up. And I see Martin O'Neill said to the players at the weekend after that win, stay off social media. I don't want to be putting... Why would you say that to them?
I think he wouldn't want any fuel given to Lasker or anything they can hang up in the change room and use. You know, managers can be clever, and Martin O'Neill would potentially be that guy himself where he goes, look, these think they've done it. Look, they're through. They're going on nights out. They're putting up posts potentially. That's the only reason I can think. You don't want to give them anything. You want to talk their chances up, and go there and do the job and understand. You don't want to give them any fuel, because if they get an early goal and then they start to get a lift and they start to use the mentality of these think they've done it and they think they're better than you and all that. I mean, it's done before. Neil Lennon's done it with us against Shakhtar Karagandhi, thinking, these think they've done it. They think the tie's over, and they build this. The build up is clever, and Martin O'Neill knows that, so I can understand what he's doing there. He wants it kept completely quiet in-house. They'll be confident, but they'll know there's a job to be done.
Barry, it's the modern version of staying off don't give a headline to the Sun or the Record or the Times that would go up in the... Did it ever go up in the notice board? Something from the paper?
Yep.
That somebody else had said?
Definitely.
Give us an example.
No, there's loads of examples. Just when, for instance, an Old Firm game, if one of the players for the opposition was having a wee pop and saying they're going to come to Ibrox and win, of course you put it up, and it fuels you to go and make sure that doesn't happen. But listen, that's just being respectful. I like that. You've got to respect the opposition, even if you're 3-0 up. I think it's always a good thing to respect who you're playing against. Look, I think Celtic will go through, but I think it will still be a difficult game for them. But I still think they'll go into the group stages, and Martin O'Neill's just being respectful and just warning the players just to make sure they are too.
It just came to me there. Do you remember Soon said it was men against boys at Celtic Park? Blackburn. And I remember they did batter Celtic that night. But that would have got hung up, or definitely mentioned by Martin O'Neill. And I think I've spoke to a couple of the Celtic players, I'm sure, since then, and I think they had that feeling going down there, that there were players that had played with England and they wanted to show that obviously it wasn't men against boys, and then you've seen what they've done at Ewood Park with the likes of John Hartson and Sutton and Larson. So Martin O'Neill's seen it before, and he understands the psyche of it.
Yeah, it's good psyche from Martin O'Neill. After the game, 3 goals. You'd love to go ahead, 3 goals up, Barry, going abroad. But is there danger if you lose a goal early on or whatever? I mean, it's a brilliant scoreline, but it's not over.
I'm sure Charlie will agree here. I don't think they'll play as high a line. You've got to go over and be a bit cautious, because you know Lasker are going to come firing out the traps. That's for sure, because they'll be wanting to get an early goal. But I think if Celtic survive the first 15-20 minutes, I think that's important. That'll be what Martin O'Neill will be saying, and the coaching staff in the dressing room. Make sure we keep it tight for the first 15-20 minutes. Then genuinely the game calms down a wee bit. So that'll be their aim going over there.
Obviously, it's better than being level, but it's a good scoreline. 2-0's a dodgy scoreline, we know that, because a goal and you think, oh no, here they come. But you've got that cushion, so it's an ideal scoreline to go away from home.
Martin O'Neill?
And didn't even have to say it in the dressing room to the players. They absolutely know this, that things that what we are, I think we've shown, I think we're capable of scoring, and which we probably would need to do. But they are a fine side. It's not, they're not playing it down at all. It's just, I think that this game, as I say, our goals were just fantastic and good enough to win any football match. But we've got a long way to go yet.
Celtic fans, what are you thinking ahead of the game tomorrow night? 8 o'clock kick-off, and then the draw for the Champions League proper Thursday evening. And that's on at the same time, Barry, as Rangers will be playing over there in the Czech Republic. A 1-goal lead going over there. Derek McInnes spoke after the game. Obviously, it was 10-man Rangers. Overall, his impressions?
Disappointed with a lot of the first half. I thought we were played in fits and starts without really having any real impetus and concerted pressure. Obviously, I thought we hit the post with a couple of moments, but I thought, and by and large, wasn't happy with the first half performance. I thought We never held our width as much as we should have, and we were too eager with our runs from midfield. We thought we were up in the game too much, and we needed to bring a bit more intelligence to the game, but we also needed to be a wee bit more enthusiastic with some of our tempo and just move the ball a wee bit quicker. We spoke about things at half time. We tried to address one or two things, and I thought we were far better second half. I thought we played forward, we timed runs better, we connected the game better, and I thought the second half gave us a far better chance of causing them problems. We get the goal, which we deserved at that point. I don't think they caused us too many problems in terms of goal-mouth chances or saves for Evo to make. And I felt the second goal was coming. I felt that there was some decent passages of play. Obviously, Gas has got to score and make it 2. And then the red card changes it, because from then on in, it's just about trying to manage the last part of the game, the last 15-20 minutes or so, and make sure we get our victory. So the positives are we get a clean sheet, it's another win, it's another goal for Big Nadiri, and we've got something to take over to the Czech Republic. But you know, I think in the bigger scheme of things, there's still loads of work to do here. And I've said this the last few weeks, it's important that we try to win games of football. I thought we looked quite young at times, and the enthusiasm and the work rate was there in bucket loads, and I'll take that. But we need to show a wee bit more composure and a wee bit more poise to our play.
Barry?
I agree with quite a lot he's saying there, and it's interesting. He says they look quite young. They do. They need. Spoke about this in Friday night, Paul. I definitely believe we need a couple of leaders, and they're difficult to get. I understand that, but he's got to be seriously looking to try and get a few people in who can lead the team when things are going well and when things are not going as well. Somebody who can calm the place down a wee bit. The positives are it's a win, a clean sheet, but ideally I would have liked another couple of goals. And it's going to be just similar to what I says with Celtic tomorrow night, Lask. I think the Czechs are going to come flying out and go for Rangers, because they do look a bit vulnerable at the back. But listen, it's in Rangers' hands. They've got to go and show a bit of mettle. And if they do that, in all honesty, I didn't think they were a great team. I didn't. I thought they were okay. But again, you've got to always respect the opposition. But I fully expect Rangers to see it. They should have enough to see it through.
Charlie, they should have enough. What do you feel?
They should have. I don't think. Is it Jablonec? You would. I don't think they were very good at all.
No.
Bottom 6, Scottish Premiership team. It looked like to me. Rangers need to be better. They need to step up. I don't see any of the 10, 11 signings that come in that are guaranteed spots. Penrice looks good, but now Rangers need to. They need to get a result and start getting their season moving. I think that a lot of question marks over a lot of players there.
There's a young player, looks as though he's coming in, Barry, over £8 million, Kim Min-soo. Looks to be on his way, as you know, from Girona. Just a medical coming up. So that's the latest that's in. There's quite a few outlets, including the Sunday, the record saying so. Kim Min-soo is going to be another wide player at Rangers, which they need.
Yeah, they need certainly forward-thinking players, but also I still think they need another couple. Again, I'll go back to what I says in Friday night. I believe they need a central midfielder who's a real leader in there, and even another player at the back who's really commanding. But look, what is it, £8 million, £8.5 million? They're certainly putting their hands in their pockets to let the manager go and buy these players. And I would fully expect there'll be another one or two coming through the door.
Yeah, he did speak the other day and said, look, we do need more signings. How close are you?
Pick up with that straight after the game with everybody involved. So, we are kind of trying in a few different areas to get the right players in, but it's players with the right quality. We're getting loads of players put to us, but we've been really concentrated and focused on certain ones, and hopefully, as I say, I'm quite hopeful we can do one in the next few days, and we're working extremely hard, because I do think that having that extra level of pace and quality and invention at the top end of the pitch is going to be massive for this team, for our team, and if we can get that, I'm pretty confident we can keep getting improvements for the team.
Charlie reports that Austin Trusty didn't train today before they flew out to Austria. That'd be a blow. He may well be absolutely fine by tomorrow.
Yeah, of course it will blow. I don't think they'll be taking any chances with him. Maybe just being wrapped up in cotton wool, so he is all right for the game. It would be a blow, but Scales is there waiting to come in, who's also a really good defender.
I see the manager's been speaking about Colby Donovan and saying how well he did last Wednesday.
He was brilliant last Wednesday, and that's all he can do, Paul. Step in and take your chance. You're only as good as your last game, so that's gone. So he needs to step up again. And the minute he puts a run of 5 and 10 games like that, then you become a serious contender to be the right back. But until then, he just needs to keep his head down and keep on. He'll take great confidence for that game. Great mentality he's shown. And delighted that he's had his chance.
Mark's on asking, what about Celtic signings, Charlie? Any word today? They're saying, that, again, we keep hearing about the Torino player, the Lithuanian midfielder, 22-year-old Gvidas Gianitis. His name comes up time after time.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but there's a midfielder needed there, definitely, with power and pace and a defensive eye. To play in the Champions League, the games that are coming up, you'd imagine a backup left back, another right back's going to come in, goalkeeper question marks. It depends what level Celtic want to go to. If they want to get a proper number one of stature, or they want to get somebody to back up in a Salo. But yeah, there's signings still to come in at Celtic. The difference between Celtic and Rangers, and you constantly compare them because it's natural. Celtic have got quality. Rangers seem to have got quantity in the door. I mean, you look at Celtic signings; they've been top class, and it's the reason why they're off to such a good start.
Certainly have been. Here's Martin O'Neill speaking the other day about the incomings, and also Mark was asking, are they really going to wait? Well, they are waiting now to see what happens. If they get the 40 million, which it looks as though they will, then that will trigger more spending, because if it's Europa League, it would be like last season. They maybe not spend the same money. Do you agree with that, Charlie? Can you understand why?
Why they don't spend before they know?
Well, they have spent some. They've
Yeah,
spent,
no, but they're still in the green, aren't they? They've only spent what they spent. That's right, innit?
Yeah.
So they still need more money to spend. I just want to see Celtic. I think the fans just want to see Celtic. Don't forget about Scotland, but try and push on and be the best they can in Europe, and then Scotland will take care of itself. I think Celtic this year have got a real chance to kick on and really take strides away for Rangers and have a good run in Europe with 8 games in Europe, and it would be brilliant to see. And Martinell's proved that he can make the signings. He's proved he can bring quality in. Give him money, give him more money to bring real quality, go to that next level and try and have a right good go in Europe. Worst comes to worst, it'll be domestically, it'll be sewed up.
We are on the plus side in terms of money at this minute, and probably for the number of players you have left, I think, in terms of the wage budget and things like that. So we're actually in the plus. I think that regardless of what happens next Tuesday night, I think we've still got European football. And I think then that, and while, as we mentioned yesterday, that Champions League football is a big carrot for a lot of players, and that would be nice. I still think that we would, hopefully we'll get somebody in to augment the squad for European football anyway.
And he gave a bit more about how the team will and can get better.
I genuinely think that we can improve. We can improve in the sense that I think that that will bring us on in terms of fitness as much as anything else. Really strong game, had to be at it almost every single minute. The last 10 or 15 minutes, although we broke a number of times and could have maybe done better. But overall, I thought the defending was strong. I thought Sinisalo did really great and made a big save for us at 2-0. It goes 2-1 and they're in the ascendancy at that stage. So lots of things happened during the course of the game. Can't probably take it all in. But when I analyse it again, I think, like the rest of the staff, and I'm sure the supporters are thinking that this is far from over.
Barry, I see Sinisalo was interviewed over the weekend, said, look, I'm the number one and I aim to stay. I intend to stay here. And I guess that's the attitude you'd expect.
I'm just about to say that. Yeah. I would expect that. I wouldn't expect him saying, oh, right, if they sign a new goalkeeper, I'm happy to be number 2. Yeah. He wants to be number 1. I think he started the season pretty decently. And that's what you want to hear for your players, that they've got a confidence within themselves to say, right, do you know what? I want to be playing.
Celtic fans, what are you thinking ahead of tomorrow night? 0808 17 17 700 over at Rangers. Manny Fernandes, we spoke about it on Friday, Barry. I see Leverkusen is the team that are looking at him. What kind of money and what do you think? What's your sense of it with 10 days to go?
I don't know if it's just paper talk, but I've always said everybody's got a price in their head.
What would his price be, do you think?
I really don't know,
Yeah.
but it's whatever a club's willing to pay. But I'm sure Rangers would look at it. I know Leverkusen. I've seen West Ham as well. They have been showing a bit of interest. It's going to be like this for the next 10 days, Paul. There's going to be people rumoured to be going places. But again, I think if clubs meet the valuations of certain players, I think they would do business.
Andy's on saying, right, you two, what's going to happen the next 10 days, signings-wise? What's your summary, Charlie? Looking at the big two, what do you think's going to happen?
There's going to be bodies coming in the door, I'd imagine. Yeah, I think Celtic it's going to be really interesting to see what positions they actually go for, because what's going to happen with Alistair Johnson?
Yeah.
There's one point where you thought he was at the door, so they need a right back. But then Colby Donovan's done well, so how does that look for Martin O'Neill? I think Celtic will bring in another 3 signings. I think they'll definitely bring in a midfielder. The other positions are just I'm just not sure. A backup left back potentially,
And a big money midfielder, given the
big
fact
money
that
midfielder. I think
Engels is gone.
and then potentially another striker. I know
yeah.
Duran can play there. Hassan's there to come on wing and push Duran in one, but I just think you can never have enough strikers up top. So I think another striker would help. With all the games Celtic are potentially going to have with Europe and everything coming up, I think they could be doing with another striker.
Barry, what do you think of that for Celtic? Would you expect something like that? Another striker, midfielder?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at them, they need somebody to go in and play in beside Callum McGregor. When you watch Celtic, I think that's evident that they need to bring somebody else in. With Engels going to West Ham, but I'm sure both clubs are going to be busy next 10 days.
And Rangers, how busy? I wonder. Is that a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago? Andrew Kavanagh said there could be 3 to 5.
Well, they certainly need another striker, with Chermiti been out for the season. Kim Min-soo, who looks to me if he's nearly signed, so that's another wide player.
Is that 12 players Rangers have bought in?
I think they'll look to bring in another 2, one striker, and if you're asking my opinion, I'm saying a central midfielder.
The Lewis Ferguson type of figure, which we talked about Friday.
I think with Rangers, the less sort of tactics you do with the team, and I'm not saying there's none done, but I don't think Derek McInnes is known for his tactical. I think he changes formation and he matches up to other teams. But I think a lot of his stuff is man managing, grit and determination. And I think the more it's like that, from my experience, the more leaders you need naturally in there. And I don't think Rangers have got enough leaders. So I think that's where they're struggling.
And that's what Barry said here on the programme on Friday. They're crying out for
They could be doing like a Davy Weir at centre back. Somebody like that as a leader that would step in.
And you don't know what's going to happen with Fernandez or Nico Raskin. There's been rumours again with Nico. So I think you're going to certainly see players coming in, but also you're going to see players getting out the door. There's a number of players that have not even hardly seen the ball, like
Barron,
Barron, guys like that. So they are still top heavy in terms of their squad, and they'll need to get a few out the door, that's for sure.
And somebody who has seen a lot of it, two Romans, but there's a bit of chat that maybe there'll be a big bid coming in for him, Barry, potentially.
Yeah, I seen that. Was it Genk?
Yeah.
That were showing an interest. Again, it's if they meet the valuation of a player, I'm sure Rangers will look to do business. I think Penrice, since he's come in, he's been a bright spark.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you, really impressed the last couple of games. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting 10 days for both Rangers and Celtic.
Transfer merry-go-round well and truly underway. We're back just after this.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
What do you think about some signings for Celtic, for Rangers, and maybe for your club? And Bertel Askew, has he got a lot to answer for? He did such a great job at Motherwell. Chairman in football clubs will be saying, look at the budget they had there and look at the way he changed the style of play, the kind of players that we sold on, we being Motherwell at the time, for quite a lot of money. It's been phenomenal. We're going to talk about that very shortly. Charlie Mulgrew is here, so is Barry Ferguson, the top two with us tonight. Barry will know this time next week if Derek McInnes' appeal for the touchline ban from his days at Hearts, that final day of the season, is successful. Because if it isn't, then he could miss the... Well, would he be back in time for the Old Firm game? So what do you think about it, first of all? It seems so long ago in some ways.
It's carried on.
Yeah.
You're right. It's went on and on. If you're asking me, do I think it will make a difference? Of course you want to have your manager on the touchline. But me personally, I don't think it wouldn't make a difference to me whether the manager was on the touchline or up in the stands. When I played under Walter Smith, he was always sat in the stand. And the coaches done
So he
all
used
the
to
stuff.
come down, didn't he?
Yeah, if you weren't playing well and he was angry,
Is that what he did?
he would
Yeah,
come down
yeah.
and you would hear him. But generally, he would sit up in the director's box and watch the game for there. So, if I'm honest, I don't think it would make a difference. You would need to ask the players that are there currently, but my opinion, it wouldn't make a difference to me whether the manager was in the touchline or in the stand.
What's the ruling with it? If you're in the stand, are you allowed to come at half time?
No, you're not allowed at half time, and you're not. I think an hour before the game, you're not allowed near the dressing room.
And then that's it till the end.
Yeah.
You're not allowed in
Tunnel.
until I think it's 15 minutes after the game.
So if he doesn't succeed, then he will miss 3 games. The last game will be the Celtic game in the Cup at Ibrox. Charlie, was that a big thing for you, do you think, with the managers in the dugout or up in the stand?
No, not during the game. But I think at half time
Yes,
you're
you would
looking
back.
for your leader to make a decision on how, if you stick or twist, if you want some tactical information or you change. Dale, for what I see for Dale, is he does a lot of matching up to teams and like going man for man at times. And I think that to get that message down, I'm sure he would get it down, but to give it with the same energy and the same sort of frustration and have your players feel that from you is something you would maybe miss. As a player myself, the sideline, you're rarely looking at the manager. You know when you're playing bad, you know what you need to do better. It'd be the half-time team talk that I would worry about, because I don't think his assistants will carry it out anywhere near as good as he can. That's why he's a manager, and that's where things would be different.
Barry would have hated it when he was manager if you were up in the stand. You would be, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but that's why you've got a coaching staff that you would put your trust in, and they would know, because you're obviously going to be in contact through the earpiece.
Yeah.
So he'll be letting them know, listen, this is what I want to change in terms of if it's a tactical change or if it's a personnel change. So that's why you have a coaching staff, and if he is going to be banned, I'm sure he'll have to rely on Paul Sheeran and Alan Archibald.
Do you think it will be reduced or it won't be rescinded, will it? You know, the comments at the end
Who
of
knows
the
these
game
days?
where he was strong. I mean, for him, what a day. It was, a disaster. Of course it was.
Is it for what did he say again exactly?
We'd have to go back through what he actually said at the time, wasn't it? Some of it was disgusting and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It was really strong stuff that, look, in the heat of that, I can't imagine what it would be like for him. Suddenly it's snatched away in the closing minutes. But, we don't know. We'll
don't
find
know.
out
Who
next
knows
Monday. Yeah,
how they
here
look
in the
at it.
programme. Phil's on. I'm going to go on the line in a second or two. Phil's saying, Barry, what do you make of Dragojevic? He likes him. He thinks he's started well.
Yeah, he scored a fantastic goal last Sunday against St Murphy. Brilliant strike from outside the box. And listen, he's going along nicely. He's young, got to remember. He's coming to a different country. It's a different environment. But so far, what I've seen is there looks to me if there's a really good football player there.
Stylish player from what we've seen, Charlie.
Seen bits and pieces,
Yeah.
some nice goals, tells you that he's got a bit of ability, but still early days, Paul. There's a lot more to having a little bit of ability to be a Rangers midfielder.
Yeah. Here's another comment about Osman, young Osman. Just trying to check the name of who said this. He said, I really like Osman. Give him a go. Look, who's brilliant. So is Duran. But is there going to be game time for Callum Osman, who scored, of course, that final goal on that day back in May.
Well, right now he's third choice,
Yeah.
sort of striker. He'll be third or fourth choice. I don't think he'll be any more than that. I think he's got a part to play as that third or fourth choice. He's proved he can come on and run and work hard and nick a goal here or there. So, yeah, he's definitely one that would play that, but not a major role as in 30, 40 games for him this year. He's still one that needs to come on and prove himself.
Young Osmond, I mean, what a day for him, Barry. What do you
Well, he
make of
certainly
him?
got a bit of pace about him, and Charlie will tell you, defenders hate pace. And he come back into the team. Was it a serious hamstring injury he had, wasn't it?
That's right,
I
aye.
think it was
Aye, it was.
a badging, but he's electric. He's got that youthfulness about him. I think he's going to find it hard.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest with you, seeing the start that the Celtic's two new strikers have made, I think he's going to find it hard to get some game time.
It must be tough to get that adulation, Charlie, that, you know, you're top of the world, you've won the title in the last minute,
Yeah.
and then you're on the bench.
That's the nature of being a young kid. I know he came from Fulham, but he's classed as a young developing player. That's what happens, Paul. You it's the same as Kobe Donovan. When your chances come along, you need to take them and you need to stay in there and you need to go above and beyond as a foreign player coming in that's been money's been paid for them. So Osman needs to wait for his opportunity and do what he's done in the past. Go and affect games, go and score goals, go and work hard. Do it every day in training and eventually you'll get your rewards. We're seeing Donovan in now. Big Champions League performance. He now needs to come in and have a run of games. You can't have. We see it with Finlay Curtis. You have one off day and you're out. You're out. You're first to, and it's no good. It's no brilliant. I don't love it, but it's the nature of it, and it's the way it goes. You get in there. You need to stay in there. You need to have a real desire to produce every single game, so that nobody can. People say, well, he's now established himself. It's hard. It's really difficult. It's much easier for a foreign player to come in or a signing to come in. And because I've tried to come through the system and then I've had to go away and come back. I mean, I came in, I was treated like more of a signing coming in rather than a young lad. And I managed to fight my way in the team. And you do need to go in and make sure you're playing. But it's harder for young players to come through than it is for signings to come in.
The man just 2 yards away from you did manage to do it. You know, to come through the ranks.
It's tough,
and
Paul.
break in.
It's really hard. Look, you can have ability or whatever, but you need a bit of luck as well. And I get the breakthrough in the famous 9-in-a-row team, but it was through injuries. I don't think if there was injuries, I would have broke in at that stage.
Who was injured?
You had guys in the middle of the pitch like Gascoigne, Stuart McCall, Ian Ferguson,
It's ridiculous,
Ian
isn't it?
Durant, guys like that. So there was a few injuries, and I made I get the break in at that stage. Now, if that wasn't the case, I don't think I would have played many games in the year they were going for 10 in a row.
Charlie, can you imagine it? So Paul Gascoigne, one of the greatest places, injured.
I made my debut.
Try this young guy.
I made my debut. It was me, Gascoigne and Durant. That was a midfield.
Wow.
What year was that?
Oh, 90, was it 96, 97?
Was it?
Ian
But
Durant.
then, if you think about this, is how mad it is. Ian Durant and Paul Gascoigne are two of my favourite players.
Yeah.
So when you're standing on a pitch and you're beside two guys that
How
you
did
grew
that
up,
feel?
surreal, if I'm being honest with you. I'm thinking to myself, I used to love these guys. I used to, like,
Did you feel you
you
belonged
know, you're
there
doing the
though?
part with your pals,
Aye.
10-year-old, kidding on you were Paul Gascoigne or Ian Durant, and next thing you're lining up beside the two of them.
I just get shivers down my neck. Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Isn't it brilliant? Yeah.
In the pitch, that's brilliant.
And how were they with you? How was Ian Durant?
Oh, no, good. They were, listen, when a young player's coming through, obviously they don't want you to take their place.
Yeah.
But they were, I mean, it was brilliant to let them off these guys. These guys were like, I mean, if you're talking Paul Gascoigne, probably the best British midfielder that's ever been produced.
What a character as well. Eh?
Aye. One of the nicest guys you could meet.
It was amazing. Yeah,
Aye.
I interviewed him a few
And-
times. He was brilliant.
And I
Was
tell
he?
you
He was,
something,
aye.
he used to come in, we had the youth team game, we would always win the next day, and he would always make time to come in and see how you got on. Not just myself, but all the boys. How did you go on last night? Who scored? Who he's playing against?
Genuinely interested.
A genuine interest in
Love
how you got on.
It makes a difference with that because when I come through, obviously, you've got Neil Lennon, Larson, Sutton, and they're my heroes growing up. I'm watching them, and all of a sudden, I'm just privileged to be picking up their underwear and shorts and
Aye.
cleaning their boots. And then when it makes a wee difference when they do talk to you and ask you how your game went and they're sure I'll be interested. it's amazing. You go back home, you tell your family, guess who was talking to me today, and everything's brilliant.
Josh, do you think these two guys know how lucky they've been? Listen, amazing talents, two phenomenal careers. Josh is on the line from the Liverpool area. Hi, Josh, how are you?
All right, Paul. All right, Barry. All right, Charlie.
All right, Josh.
How are we doing, Josh?
Yeah.
So listen, question for Barry and Charlie. You obviously both got to move to Blackburn Rovers in your career. Barry, yours was like massively publicised because you went with Graham to Blackburn, didn't you? I just want to know, like sort of moving down south to the Premiership, because I was looking at my Ada for Ipswich, and he still has those hallmarks of pressing from the front, setting that tempo for the team, and the sort of press that he had at Celtic is like a transferable skill over to Ipswich. But can you see that being pivotal to Ipswich's survival bid, Barry? And sort of what's it like from a player from your side of the world to go down there? And,
I'll be honest with you, Josh. See, Maeda, I think £10 million, even in his final year of his contract, was an absolute snip. And I'm surprised, no disrespect to Ipswich, I'm surprised a bigger club didn't come in. Now, I'm not saying he would have went to a top 4 or top 6, but like an Everton or a Newcastle, I was really surprised that none of them showed any interest. And I think, listen, I think it's a brilliant piece of business, Ipswich, because I really like him. I mean, he's a guy you would love to have played with, because his attitude, his work rate, and also, to be fair to him, I think his quality get better each season. So I think he'll do great. I think he'll do great down there.
I think he's he's a world class presser and a work rate off the ball. I know, although his technical ability get better, I just question whether it was top Premier League standard. I think that's what let him down. A lot of times he'll get on the right hand side and cross the ball at the pitch. He's hold up play let him down a wee bit, taking that away from his speed and his work rate. But I just think he missed out a wee bit on the top end of the Premiership. But I think he'll do a job for Ipswich, and I don't know how he played at the weekend. Josh, did he play well? I didn't see it.
Yeah, so the 2 goals for Ipswich came from the press, so there was poor errors from Sunderland in terms of trying to play into dangerous areas. But there's people like Maeda and Jack Clark that scored the winner for them that kind of set that trap.
Yeah.
So teams think that they can stroke it out from the back and take it nice and easy, but then you've got that harrying from the likes of Maeda. That's definitely a transferable skill to sort of any level of football, boys, isn't it?
Do you know what he'll do, Josh? You know what he'll do? He'll surprise a lot of people. He'll surprise a lot of people coming up against him. Obviously, they would have known maybe he was at Celtic, maybe watched a few the Celtic's game, but I think he'll surprise a lot of the teams that he comes up against.
Especially in that Premiership, the way they play for the back.
Yep. He'll love that.
What was it you said about him the other day?
Speedboat, no driver.
That was a
Speedboat, no driver.
Yeah.
Bit harsh. Bit harsh. But my point I was making was run all day, really quick presser, but technically not at the same level as Duran, is what I was trying to get across. And but then if he had been technically as good as Duran and press like that, he'd have been going to the top end of the Premiership. So I take nothing away from him. He's effective at what he's done, and teams that play out for the back are going to know they're in a game this year when he's pressing them.
Josh, what else was in your mind?
Yeah, so I just want to ask Barry about, obviously, the Ann Crichton's Rangers, Barry. They got a 7-0 win this weekend over Spartans, and it was 4 goals for Katie Wilkinson. Now, there was a lack of Premiership action in terms of the men's football, but equally there was a lack of visibility of the women's game. Like this week, BBC Alabama haven't picked the game up, so I've just been sort of looking at the results, so up at a bit of the Thistle and Hibs game. But apart from that, I've got to wait for the highlights tonight. But four goals again by for Katie Wilkinson. She's quite the talisman, isn't she?
No, she is. She's absolute flying. She was flying last year. She was the Women's Player of the Year, and thoroughly deserved it. And I think they've done really well to keep a hold of her, if I'm being honest with you. And Leanne's made a few signings as well. I actually spoke to her during the summer, and she's looking forward to it. Obviously disappointing last year, but she's wanting to go one further and try and really bring trophies back to Rangers.
Because Hearts had the 5-0 win at Motherwell, Glasgow City 3-0 win at Aberdeen, Montrose losing 3-0 to Celtic, and
Josh does make a good point, but I mean, no televised any of the games.
No.
When
you see it tonight, don't you, on Sky?
I know, but you would expect one of the games to at least be on. certainly with the weekend, very little football
No,
up here.
I agree. Yeah. Or is it in the BBC tonight, Josh?
Yeah, so I like to on BBC Scotland at 7:30 for anyone who's interested or thinking of taking a look at it. But yeah, this is a growing facet of the game, boys.
Yeah.
I don't want to come across this morning because I'm trying to fly the flag here for the women's game, but the fact that BBC Alaba gets so many picks this season, and there's all those postponements from the teams that are in Europe, and Barry, I want to ask you about that as well, about the break that Celtic and Rangers, Hearts and Motherwell have had between the game. That'll obviously do the small squads good, won't it, to get that break before the second leg to re-energise and kind of go again for these high stakes matches.
Yeah, it will, but again, see, because it's so early in the season, I don't know what you think, Charlie. I wouldn't mind playing a game at the weekend. I know people like for the rest, but I would rather play.
Yeah.
But like say Motherwell with a smaller squad, teams like that who don't carry as big as Rangers or Celtic, but I was always in the mindset I would rather play than rest.
I always felt better, especially early in the season. I felt
it took you a few games to get
4
up
or 5 to get up running, and then I just wanted to keep continuing my games. Certainly when I was in my prime of my 20s, I thought just play games constantly. I didn't want to miss them.
Plus, it's so early in the season. There's been so much chat about the English Premier League, whereas Scotland was getting a bit of prominence for a few weeks. It was on Sky every game the first weekend. We've kind of dropped the ball on it. Look, I get it. Celtic Champions League, Rangers for the conference, or whatever it is. I do get it, but you used to just play the games and then go for it. Plus, it's so early in the season. Derek McInnes was asked just before the weekend, how are you going to use it now with no game? What's the schedule?
Certainly our focus will be try to get the improvements for the second leg, and obviously anybody signed can't play in the second leg, but I do feel this, before we go to Pittodrie a week Sunday, then we would like to have a couple of additions in. The club are well aware of that. Everybody's trying hard. And as I said before, these ones are normally the more difficult ones to get, the ones where you're paying the bigger ticket money, and but clearly we could do with that. But I think for this week it'll be good just to, because it's been Thursday, Thursday, not too much time to work on things. A lot of times it's been recovery, a chance to everybody to take a breath. We're in tomorrow, we'll train. We're in on Sunday, we've got a day off Saturday, we're in on Sunday and then a lead up to go to Czech Republic, but I do think we'll need to take the good for the day, but clearly there's loads to work on.
Josh, thanks so much for your call. We need a break and then we're back. phone.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
European week, big time. So tomorrow night, 8 o'clock kickoff, LASK. The Austrian champions against the Scottish champions, Celtic of Glasgow. 8 o'clock tomorrow, Celtic over there now in Austria. Beautiful time of the year to be over there, Charlie. I know you're not thinking about the weather, but it's a great time to play football.
Brilliant. I love going away.
Yeah.
I used to go away for a away Champions League
Yeah.
qualifiers or games, Paul. It's just amazing, especially this time of year. Over to a foreign country, you travel in the morning, go over there, sometimes train in the stadium at night. I don't know if Celtic still do that. I used to love doing it, especially with like a lead, some sort of lead that you can go over and protect. And as long as you're not complacent, the job should be done for Celtic.
Certainly should be tomorrow night. Barry, you would agree? You'd expect Celtic to go through?
I expect him to go
would you?
through. I think it'll be a tough game. I think it'll be pretty close. But I would. If you're asking me, I think Celtic will go through.
Rangers on Thursday, and then Hibs, Hearts and Motherwell. We're going to speak about them. Charlie, a couple of people asking, they watched you on Premier Sports the other day, the Dundee derby. Great crowd and everything. But so what happened then? I see Dermot Gallagher, the former referee, he's ripped into VAR and he's saying that they are meddling. What was the
So
phrase? He's baffled by the decision to change the booking. Yep.
I was at the game.
Yep.
So Ryan Finnegan's running with the ball for Dundee. Now he's just outside the box.
Yep.
Yoro tackles him, the Dundee United midfielder. Tackles him like he's a rash type of player. He looks like he dives in a bit. He's more of a attacker, not a great tackler. So you're thinking foul to Ryan Finnegan straight away. But nowadays you can overturn a booking. So the referee's then been called to the monitor to have a look at it. Now he goes to the monitor and realises that Yoro gets a touch on the ball. As he touches the ball, Ryan Finnegan, who's running, plants his foot on top of Yoro's foot, then steps in the ball and goes down. So of course it's not a foul because Yoro touches the ball. So straight away it's not a foul. So he then decides to give a booking, to change the booking from Yoro to Ryan Finnegan because Ryan Finnegan stood on Yoro's toes, which is ridiculous. Because he can't put his foot anywhere else. So the referee overturns it after looking at the monitor and he gives a free kick to Dundee United and gives a booking to Ryan Finnegan, which is so the briefing came through from the VAR that it's mistaken identity is why you can now overturn a booking. But it's not, for me, that's not a case of mistaken identity because he's clearly seen something, gave a foul to then overturn it. It wasn't like, I've booked him when I was meant to book you, or I thought it was you. Or get
But they
mixed
made
up.
it sound like that a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah, as if they've got the wrong person, but he clearly seen a foul going that way. Mistaken identity would indicate if me and you are on the same team and the referee thinks that you've fouled somebody and he books you when it was actually me, then that's fine, you can get that. But in this case, it didn't. But at the same time,
it's nonsense.
Yeah, it's nonsense, but you wouldn't want Dundee getting the free kick. It's in a dangerous area. So if anything, if you're going to stop it, you stop the game. You then you say it's no foul to MD and you do a bounce ball and you play on. No need for MD to be booked. So it was a shocking bit of refereeing in VAR.
You don't have to transfer the card, especially to the other team, to an opposition. So I saw it, was watching it, and I thought at first, I wondered, did he get the ball? And then he did, right? So he got the ball.
Just nicked the ball.
Yoro, he did, just nick it. And then I saw it as a punter, an observer, that he fell over the ball.
Yeah.
So he should never have been booked.
Yeah, seen worst case scenario for me, Paul. You allow the referee to make the mistake. So what? Because we all looked at it at the time and you thought potentially Yoro's fouled Finnegan. So if a referee makes a decision and he'll make mistakes. He might make mistakes, but what we don't want is re-refereeing the game. We've spoken about that before.
But they are.
I know, and that's the mistake there. It was a bad one to be on TV and show the refereeing, and obviously Dermot Gallagher saw it and bad decision.
Barry, what a result for Stephen Presley to go, just down the road and win the derby and win it pretty well 2-0.
Yep, and I think he's done a really good job at Dundee. You've seen they were getting better as the season went on last season, and he started the season pretty strongly. He's made a few new signings. Generally, at clubs like Dundee, they lose a lot of their better players, so he's recruited really well, and he's a real strong start to the season. And they could surprise a few people this season.
They have.
Dundee.
The back four's really good,
Mm-hmm.
particularly Ashley and Bevan, the two centre backs defended with their life. They put their body in front of it, blocked everything, headed everything. Dundee United could have played for 3 days and no scored. Dundee were brilliant defensively and managed to get a couple of goals that went their way, and they were clinical with them. So yeah, they've recruited well. Stephen Presley's kind of changed his style of play as well. He's wanted to play more like a lot of Scottish and people in Scotland are doing now. Are trying to play for the back and play through, and I wonder how much Better Askers had an influence on a lot of managers.
Going to ask you about that in the second half. And for
Simon Murray was a big loss.
that's right. See, he was up in cold.
ACL again.
He has,
I don't
hasn't
know,
he?
was it the same knee as previous?
I'm not sure.
Don't know.
I'm not sure,
he,
but
he was up on Dundee TV. And for Jim Goodwin, I mean, they both needed it after going out of the cup. Both managers needed a win.
Yeah.
But it's been, 10 goals in 3 games for Jim Goodwin after a great start in the first game of the season.
Well, I thought they were really good against Rangers the first 45 minutes. And then Rangers gained a bit of control, but they come back into it and they showed a real steely determination. But that'll be something that Jim will be worried about, conceding 10 goals.
Do you know what? That's the
And
first.
they look at, and before the end, it looks like they could play all day and no score.
That's the first hour. There's more to come. Bertalascu, what's he got to ask her for? The Motherwell fans, you loved him. Is he changing the face of Scottish football? And he set the bar for the other clubs to do really, really well. We'll talk about that and more after the news.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas. Watch live at 5 p.m. weekdays on YouTube. Join the conversation on 0808 17 17 700. Talking Scottish football first.
So Rangers have agreed a fee with Girona for the winger, the wonder kid, they're calling him, Kim Min-soo, expected to undergo a medical around now or tomorrow morning. And, Rangers fans will be looking forward to seeing him and hoping they see him. Obviously, it's too late for the game on Thursday with Jablonec in the Czech Republic. Rangers will fly out on Wednesday. Celtic flew out to Austria today. We might hear from Martin O'Neill in the next hour. If we get it, we'll give it to you first ahead of the game. And Barry Ferguson is here. So is Charlie Mulgrew. And Charlie, it's one of the reasons that I think Martin O'Neill really wanted to come back for this season was that chance to be in the Champions League, 25 years after he was last there.
Yeah, when you think back to Martin O'Neill's first time, you relate it to European success, getting to Seville, having big nights at Celtic Park in Europe. So he'll have wanted that again. The fans are excited about it again. So to think it's so close, Paul's really exciting. There's a job to be done, but it would be amazing to see Celtic in amongst that again.
Champions League is that where Celtic should be?
They should be. Look at the size of both Celtic and Rangers as clubs. When you look at them, that's where they belong, at the top table with the big clubs. And I'd like to see I'd like to see Celtic put a wee bit of more money towards it and have a go this year in Europe and really, really try and get to the next level and the next stages of it, because I think it'd be amazing for everybody involved at the club.
And Barry, Euro Club Rangers are putting huge amounts of money in. We're talking about the wonder kid, £8.5 million. But so far they're not getting the return. But surely this is the season. There needs to be some success.
Yeah, there has to be. There needs to be trophies getting brought back to Ibrox, Paul. You're talking about Champions League. I see Rangers as a Champions League club, but this moment in time, I don't think this group of players are ready for that level.
He needs how many to get in that position? I mean,
it's always going to take a bit of time. Look, there's 12 players now. If Kim Min-soo signs, and there'll be probably another 2 or 3 coming through the door. But I don't think you can keep doing this every single summer. The amount of players that are coming in. And it seems it's happening every single summer.
How many of them can we say are real good signings so far? I know it's early days, but
I would rather judge them, if I'm being honest with you, 2 or 3 weeks into September.
Yeah, okay.
That's when I think you've played enough games, you've had enough time to settle, and then you say, right, bang, this is how I think he's going to do.
And I agree with you, but the only thing is, I look at the Celtic, you look at the Celtic signings, and you right away you go,
they've hit the ground running.
And I suppose it's probably easier to come into a Celtic side with Callum McGregor, Carter Vickers, a lot more settled players that are in that changing room. You get Kieran Tierney, you get James Forrest. They're coming into a winning team that's got a solid base and a spine. So it's a lot easier for them. Celtic Rangers are recruiting like Shankland, and he's becoming their captain straight away. That tells you everything. And that's taking nothing away from Shankland, but that's a huge ask for somebody to come in and be your main striker, score the goals and be your captain. And then he's trying to introduce new signings into the door and help them settle when he's only in the door himself. Yeah. So Rangers are just really, really unsettled, and they just need more time probably for these signings to settle. And as Barry said,
Penrice is definitely one of the ones. I know it's only a couple of games, but you could put your mortgage on him,
but
Barry.
It looks to me if he really wants to be there and he's just going to embrace the moment. And that's what I want to see for every single player at Rangers. Listen, great start from St Mirren. He was really good, really enthusiastic, and then he carried that on in Thursday night. But he's a player that I've known for a number of years. Remember at Livingston, he was always good, but I don't think he was quite ready. And then he makes a move to Hearts, and I thought he was really good at Hearts. And the way that they played with wing backs, and I think the wing back role really suits him. But listen, the last 2 games, I've got to be honest with you, he's looked really promising. And as I said, he just looks like a player that's going to go out there every single time and give it everything he's got.
I said something really stupid there. I said, Barry, put your mortgage on. I mean, what's a mortgage to Barry? Who needs a mortgage? Here's a wee bit more from Derek McInnes about the additions. Everybody wants to know who's coming in.
No, we're doing it yet to squad. No, it's clear. But the players that we add, I think, will help get the improvements for the ones here. So the improvements come from out with, but the improvements also come from within. And I think having a couple of different options for us to play, players with a high level and players that we're trying to get, and we will get them, I'm pretty sure of that, but it's just those improvements in terms of quality and creativity and all the rest of it will make a big difference to this team.
A big difference will be if Rangers go through in the Conference League, because some Rangers fans are saying, look, let's concentrate in the league. This is Rangers.
No, they have to get through. Even if it's the conference, which is disappointing. You want it to get through into the Europa League. But no, Rangers need to have European football. Paul, listen, it doesn't bring the sums of money that the Champions League or Europa League does, but it still brings money in. And you're playing at home, the gate receipts, etc. No, it's unthinkable if Rangers don't have European football this season.
Derek was asked, are you going through?
Obviously, keeping 11 men in the park, and obviously keeping the good from today's game, the second half in particular. I think there was no real surprises from them. Obviously, they changed the midfield shape in terms of going with 3 out-and-out midfielders rather than Zorba and the 10 who's been playing for them. I thought they got a bit more legs and a bit more energy than because of that. So there was no real surprises from them. I just want us to be better, to be honest. And I think we'll have to be better. Normally in Europe, if you don't get through a European tie, if you only play well in one leg, and we've got to make sure we're as strong as we can be next week, a stronger performance, and I'm confident we've got enough in us to go and do that.
Somebody who won't be there, of course, are playing is Cammy Devlin.
I just spoke to him briefly. I was shocked as well when we were just debating who was taking the penalty, because obviously Lawrence wasn't on the pitch yet. I haven't seen it again. It is a red card. There's no debate. I think it looks a hell of a lot worse than it actually was. I think what Cammy's trying to do, and I haven't spoke to him, but I've seen him doing this before when he's trying to buy fouls. He's trying to just get his leg up and put his body in to be fouled, and because he's in the penalty box, he's obviously trying to feel the contact to go down, but because where his leg goes up to try and put his body in, it's caught the boy in the shin, and it looks terrible. And I mean, you see the stills of it, it looks like a red card all day long, but I think it looks worse than it actually was, if you know what I mean. So far from ideal, particularly when for a brief moment you think it's going for, you've got a chance to go 2-0 up and try and hammer home some authority.
Barry, a rush of blood?
Yeah, I don't know what was going through his mind. It's a definite red card. And then when that red card comes, when you're on the front foot and you're looking at least getting a second goal, then you're hanging on towards the end, because then they obviously get a lift and they're putting a bit of pressure on you. So overall, just thankful to get out of that one with 1-0. And I'm sure if Cammy looks back at it, he knows himself that it was definitely a sending off, no doubt about it.
Charlie, I see a Rangers, Ipswich and England legend Terry Butcher's been speaking at the weekend, and he was talking about James Tavernier and saying that he thinks Rangers should have kept him last season. Now, so many people say for so long, it's time for Tav to go and all the rest of it, but more and more people are saying they're missing him. What's your take on it?
I don't think they should bring him back now. I think if they were going to keep him, they should have kept him. His goal scoring record was brilliant. I'm sure they could have found a way for Tavernier to be part of the squad, and maybe if it was one of them where he's not playing as much, or I'm sure Derek McInnes could have used him. But now you can't then bring him back, because it's just insulting to then go and try and bring the player back. I think he done a great job for Rangers, but I think the leadership group in there was something that they wanted to change. I think the owners wanted to bring out. You see Butland leaving, Souttar's not on the picture, Tavernier's not there. I think that's something that they looked at and thought this needs to be addressed and changed. So, but it just shows you it's not as easy as that. Tavernier done a great job for Rangers, was a huge player and somebody that probably he'll look back in years to come and appreciate what he did do with his goal scoring record.
Be careful what you wish for. The grass isn't always green.
Yeah, and it's not his fault that he only won one league. There's more than him in the team, and it's not just down to him. He was there every time, never injured. Barry worked with him more than me. He trained every day and led by example. So, but sometimes things need to move on, and it's not a case of bringing him back. It's a case of moving on and being better with what you've got.
Were you surprised that Terry said that, Terry Butcher?
No, listen, Bill, he's an opinion that you've got to respect because he was a Rangers captain and a brilliant player. I just think it's been and gone now. Look, everybody asks, would you have kept him? I think, look, was he going to play every single game this season? You don't know, but I knew what type of character he was in terms of he was a boy that trained every single session and gave it everything. But in terms of coming back, Paul, I think that boat's sailed now.
Gone. And the Danny Rule, it was a pity the way it finished, wasn't it? That last home
It wasn't
game.
nice at all. I honestly, I don't know what was going on there. You wanted to see him at least come on the pitch because the fans were there in their numbers to give him a good scene because he deserved it.
Yeah,
he did. And it was just it just wasn't nice. I didn't like the way it ended for him.
Alex is on saying Charlie wants to hear more about what you're thinking about the Bertel Askew effect on Scottish football. So he came in last year. Remember, he had so many draws at the beginning.
Yeah.
If he hadn't got that, he could have ended up even higher up the table, but he did so well.
Well, they sold players. They played a level of football that allowed them a style of football that allowed them to sell these players, allowed players on a small budget to excel. So then naturally, chairman and sporting directors are looking at managers and thinking, right, well, if he can do that, well, what are we doing here? Because ultimately we want to make money as well on our young players or our signings. And you can see it with the style of play that different teams are trying to play. Dundee are trying to play a bit more. Dundee United, we saw at the weekend, try to play a bit more football for the back and a lot more through the lines and possession-based stuff. See what the signings they've brought in with Dylan Tate and Yoro and the likes of that. And there's other teams like Kilmarnock that are doing it. Go through the league. There's more teams now trying to play short football than there ever has been. And I just wonder if he's got a big effect on that. Bertel Askew and what chairman are saying and even managers looking themselves saying, well, I need to do that. But the problem comes if you're trying to do something that you don't believe in. Now, Dundee United, for example, have been really successful playing counter-attacking football. Against Rangers, we saw at the start of the season they get a result. Then they go away for that a wee bit and they try and be a bit more attacking. Against Celtic, they hit the bar and post 5 times. Then you ultimately get beat 4-0. Yeah. Hearts beat you 4-0. Then you go and get beat in the derby. So I just think you need to sometimes be careful with that because if you're trying to teach something you don't quite believe in, the players will sense it. And it's going to be interesting this year who plays the football like that, who's successful doing it, and then who ultimately fails in it. So I just think it's really interesting that Bertel Askew has such that big effect on teams.
Were you surprised that Rangers and Celtic didn't consider him or offer him a job? Now, I know Danny Rule was still there, but there was a feeling, Mark Guidi said in this show, Danny Rule won't be here at the start of the new season. Martin O'Neill, the way it finished last season, how could it be anybody else? But were you surprised that neither club moved for him?
100%, really surprised. The Celtic I've made the right decision because you can see what's happening now, and it's still early in the season, but things are going really well at Celtic. But then, you're surprised that there wasn't more of a move from Rangers and Celtic to get him because his style of play speaks for itself, and that's how you move players on by being successful and also having a winning brand. But I mean, they were one of the best defensive records in Europe last year. The two of their centre backs were Stephen O'Donnell and Paul McGinn. Yeah. Although it's not just they two that done the defending, it just shows you with his way of playing and his setup behind the ball when they were attacking through good coaching, what you can bring. And if they two centre backs had been younger and in their 20s, they'd have got moves as well because of that. So yeah, he's done really well, and I'm surprised he never Celtic or Rangers never, because we're right underneath his nose. Why wouldn't you take him? But is what it is.
Barry, what do you feel? Bertel Askew?
Yeah, very good coach. Obviously, you have to believe in what way you want to play, but also what you need to do is get the buy-in for the players. And it was clear from day one that the players bought into what way he was playing. If you think at the start of the season there was a few mistakes getting made because they were trying to play out, but they never let it affect him. And I thought he brought some players in, like Paul McGinn and Stephen O'Donnell, for instance. They were unbelievable for them. Also, then you had Watt in the middle of the pitch, who's got a move. McInnes was excellent. Longello,
Yeah.
who I really like at left back, and I'm surprised nobody's, I wouldn't say take a punt on him, but there's not been much interest in him. But yeah, I really like the way he went about his business. Was I surprised that a Celtic weren't interested in him? Yeah, I was, because of the job that he done with probably one of the smallest budgets in the Premier League. But he's got his move to France, Toulouse. I seen they get beat at the weekend 2-0 with Lyon. But look, he was very impressive. I seen Motherwell 3 times last year live. I don't know, you've seen him a couple. I've seen you on TV a few times. And they were even better on the eye. Really enjoyed the way they went about their business. And if they made a mistake, they never panicked. That's what I liked about them. They just stuck to what they've obviously been training on. And listen, it brought them success in European football this season.
Paul's on the line, a Rangers fan. Hi, Paul. Good evening.
Hi guys, thanks for having me
Evening,
on.
pleasure.
All right, Paul.
Hi, all right, Charlie, all right, Barry.
How we doing?
Got a quick question. Just before I make my point, it's about
Okay.
Miovski. But it was just to pick about Tavernier, Paul.
Uh-huh.
Not to labour on it, you know my points on
Yeah,
him, but I think the leadership had to change. Totally agree with Barry. I think the optics were shocking, but it's not the first time we've done that as a club. No, I hate to say it, but like Lee Wallace left him under a cloud. I never want to see that with a captain. But like I say, great save. No, I just wanted to say that.
Yep.
But as about Bojan Miovski, I just want to see what Barry and Charlie think. Do you see a way forward for Miovski? I like him as a player. I don't think he's had a fair crack, and I'm saying that not just under Derek. I'm saying that under Danny Rowe as well. I think he's comes out with some cracking goals. Ones that you think, just instinctive. I don't know if he's had a fair crack at the whip, to be honest. I'd rather have him over Nadiri sometimes. But I don't know what you think.
To be honest with you, Paul, when we signed him, I was like, right, good signing, because I really liked him at Aberdeen. Very impressive, but it's a total different style he was playing at Aberdeen. Obviously, Rangers have a lot more of the ball. I don't think he's played as much as he would probably want. And if you don't play as much, you can't show the manager what you're capable of doing. But there's certainly a good player there. I just don't know, Paul, if he suits the way that Rangers play. And I think in time you might probably see him getting a bit frustrated. And then obviously he's at an age where he wants to be playing on a regular basis, and he's not really getting that at Rangers. And plus, Rangers are in the market for another number 9. So that's going to make it even more difficult for him.
Was he 6 million when he went to Girona, wasn't he?
Yeah, 6 million, and Rangers got him for, I think, 3.5.
Yeah. Charlie, what do you make of Miovski?
Yeah, I think he's a decent player, and he does okay. He's done well for Aberdeen. He's not a fair run at Rangers, but he seems to me like he's a 1 in 3 sort of goal scoring striker. When you're at Celtic and Rangers, it needs to be more better than that. And I don't think he's a chance a long run of games, but he's obviously not doing something in training if managers aren't giving him that long run. Nadiri must be doing more. Chermiti, before he was injured, must have, and Shanklin must be well ahead of him in terms of how they're training, because it's not as if Rangers are exactly free flowing, so there must be something in it which he's not doing. Also, we don't see him every single day. How is he performing in training? Is he working as hard as he should? But yeah, I'm surprised that he's not been as good. I am, because, as I said, when he was at Aberdeen, I really liked him.
Yeah.
I really liked him. And he's obviously went to Spain. He struggled a wee bit in Spain. He never played that much, and he's come back. And then I thought, right, do you know what? We've got a real good player. But he's just struggled to get that game time on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see this season with Miovski.
Because before he went to Girona, there were people coming on the phone in here saying Miovski for Celtic, Shankland for Rangers.
Yep.
And that was, 2 summers ago, wasn't it? Paul, what are you thinking? We're chatting about Champions League. Celtic, if they get the result tomorrow night, 3 up, they're in the Champions League. 40 million on the way, the draw on Thursday. And it was actually Charlie who said Celtic and Rangers should be in the Champions League. So for you, as a Rangers fan, season ticket holder, what's the way to... They talk about pathways these days. How are you going to make it happen? If you were Andrew Kavanagh, but Paul, you're a Rangers fan, what are you going to do to get into this Champions League? Because you're on here year after year, and it's a disappointment or whatever, you must be fed up with it. The amount of money, you've got 11 signings in just now. Nobody thinks that the team are ready. And look, it could change, but you need some key signings. What are you feeling about Rangers getting to Champions League?
Well, Derek, that's a nail in the head of it. We're just not ready, Paul. We're not ready for the Europa League. It's hard as it is to say, but my bread and butter is, and Barry said this in the show a number of times, and I'm saying it as a lot of Rangers fans are saying exactly the same. We're starved of domestic success. Absolutely starved of it. And the flip side is, the ironic side is, in the 90s when I grew up watching Rangers, I was kind of not fed up with domestic success, but I wanted a real crack at Europe. Yep. I feel I've had that now. I've had the enjoyment of 2 Europa League finals, or a UEFA Cup and then a Europa League. Yeah. I've enjoyed that. Now I really, really want to just go on a right run and winning the league, and then maybe over time start to build a team. Because I don't know what you guys think, but do you not think it's hard to have a team that can go all fronts in the Champions League and the league? Because I felt the Rangers team over the last number of years was well equipped for Europe, but somehow struggled domestically. And I don't know how that is. I absolutely don't. But we put some great teams away, Benfica and RB Leipzig and that, but we couldn't beat St Mirren. With all due respect, do you know what I mean? So I don't know how Celtic will cope with that. Do you think that is something in Scottish football, or do you think it's just by circumstances?
I think to be honest with you, the Thursday Sunday's a tough shift.
Yeah.
When you're in UEFA Cup or the Europa League, I think going away on a Thursday to then come back and play on a Sunday, and it's because the travelling and you don't really have a life then, because although football's always a big part of your life, you need some downtime to then recharge. And I don't think you get that because your
weekend's gone.
Your weekend's gone, so you're in every single day.
Right. Yeah.
You travel back at a Thursday night, you're in the Friday for recovery, you're in the Saturday, you play the Sunday, then you're in the Monday again for recovery. You're never getting a day off, and you're constantly in. It's a lot. I think the Thursday Sundays I found particularly hard when you had to go to away in Europe and then come back and play Ross County in a.
This will be a big test for this Rangers squad this weekend. Been away in the Czech Republic on the Thursday and up at Aberdeen at 12 o'clock on Sunday.
Yep.
These are the ones, these are tough. You need to dig deep with these sort of games.
Especially with some of the games in Europe you'd need to go to, like some places in that Conference League wouldn't it be nice to go to?
It was tough, but listen, you've got to deal with these situations. Listen, there's worse jobs than playing on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
And playing on a Sunday.
I hadn't thought of the weekend thing, Paul. You probably didn't either. That the guys with wives, families, young families, then they want to spend some time with them. But I guess that you're saying, of course you want to win on Thursday night, but you're not going to be too worried if you go out. If you then really go for it in the League Cup, Premier Sports Cup, beat Celtic there, and then start. Well, you need to start picking up points because the stats. You could be 8 points behind going.
Well,
to Aberdeen.
Paul, I know I'm jumping in here, but I said that way back at the start of your show. Yeah. And I said, I made a statement, the league could be over. As crazy as it sounds, that's my point. We could be 8 points behind. That psychologically, at this early in the season, puts a huge amount of pressure, not only in Derek, but a batch of new players. No, you're talking about 10, 11 new players. Straight away, 8 points behind, because it creates a toxic atmosphere. That's why I said the first game of the season is so important, and as ludicrous and mental as it sounds, I said that. I'm telling you, that's where we've been a cycle repeat for year after year. We haven't won a opening league game for what are we talking now, 4 or 5 years? Yeah. And straight away, you're playing against Celtic, who, if they're in the Champions League, they've got the Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday type of thing. So you're always playing. They've got this psychological advantage, if you want to call it that. And I'm sure Barry and Charlie will agree with me on that. You'd rather play the game first than you play it second. Well, I would anyway.
Yeah. It's so much easier.
I'd rather have the points in the I'd rather have the points in the board.
And it's so much easier to play Champions League games in the big table, dining at the big table against the big teams, and come back and then play a Saturday. So much better than playing the Thursday, Sunday.
Barry, you'll play whenever. That's your attitude,
no,
isn't
but
it?
that's my attitude. But as if you're in Champions League, it does work out that you get an extra day recovery, which makes a hell of a difference. If I'm being honest with you, but this is where Rangers are. They've been knocked out of the Europa League. They're in the Conference League, and look, it's been like this for a number of years. They need to learn to deal with these situations, and this will be a big test for this group of players.
Yep.
I thought you were about to come in there.
No,
Paul,
no.
thanks so much for your call.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Paul.
0808 17 17 700.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
Champions League action tomorrow night. It's the final game before the Champions League proper. Celtic go into the match with the Austrian champions Lask 3 up. I see the managers have been speaking. The Lask manager, Kobauer, says they're going to throw the kitchen sink at Celtic. He believes in miracles and they're going to give it everything, as you would expect. Tomorrow night being 3 goals down, a mountain to climb. But I mean, there's a real warning for Celtic, wasn't there, Barry, in the first 28 seconds when they scored an absolute screamer. It was offside. But
Yeah, it was offside.
Yeah.
Yep, it was. That would have been an ideal start for Lask. But look, I'm not surprised. Look, they've got nothing to lose tomorrow night against Celtic. I think they'll go for it. They'll try and get that early goal. But I said to you, if Celtic go there and I think the first 15-20 minutes is vital. And if they get through that without conceding, then I think they'll see themselves into the group stages.
Charlie, Austin Trusty, has travelled. He was feeling a bit ill this morning. I think he's okay. He's travelled. That you said that. They maybe give him some time. I see their manager. I'm looking at the record website just now. He said Celtic were very efficient and were a bit better than us in terms of converting their chances. We never gave up at any point. I thought we played well overall and we could have scored a goal.
Yeah, they definitely could have scored a goal. I think tomorrow they'll score a few. I think it's going to be 3-2. Lask. I think it's going to be a lot of goals in the game.
Yeah. He says everyone speaks about getting a quick goal, which would be good for the team. One goal can make a huge difference, give us a chance of turning the game around. We're looking forward to the match. We'll throw everything at them. The kitchen sink as well. So his English is obviously pretty good. That's how you do it. If it's late in the game, then you have to take away defensive players and throw on attacking players. And that's maybe where the 3-2 comes in, Charlie. You know, it is a bit jangling for the nerves. If I
remember rightly, Martin O'Neill went to Stuttgart years ago in his first time at Celtic, and there was a bit of a scare. Ended up just getting through 5-4 or something. I'm sure need to look into it.
I was covering that game.
Were you?
It's true. Yep.
So I think Lask will think nothing to lose. Let's go for it. They'll score a couple. Celtic will score a few as well because they're so clinical at the moment. But Lask will probably win the game. But then just 3 goals to overturn will be too much, I think.
Yeah. Samuel Adeniran, he was a unit, wasn't he, Barry? 6'5". The pace of him, it was tough for Trusty and especially Carter Vickers.
Yeah, and you could see that's the way they approached the game. They go in behind, and that's the reason why I don't think Celtic will play with such high a line. I would be shocked if I see that.
He's American, as you know, Adarine, and he said both are good centre backs. He's talking about Trusty and CCV, strong in the air. For me, I think that in the next game tomorrow night, I definitely have to come with my best quality. There are good centre backs I'm up against. They did a good job. For my striking partner, me, we definitely have to be on our game. He maybe wasn't the very top level, but he had a lot. The US striker.
Yeah, he's got a lot. Yeah, he's got a lot to offer. Celtic. Trusty and Scales though, Trusty and Scales have defended really well in the past before in Europe. I know Scales probably won't play, but Trusty's shown that he can defend his box. I think it was against Feyenoord last year. His last ditch defending was brilliant. So him and Carter Vickers have got a big role to play.
Everyone was talking about the 2-goal man Duran after the win at Celtic Park.
He's been fantastic for us since he's arrived at the football club, and his goals were terrific. His play was great. His running back, helping fullbacks, helping Colby out on a number of occasions. It was magnificent performance. And he's if he stays clear of injury, he's going to be a really, really good player.
Charlie, he did track back Maeda-like at times, didn't he?
He done that against Dundee United as well in the Saturday game. His work rate's top. And the fans respond well to that, Paul, that you see them. Every football fan likes to see the players giving everything. And he done that going back the way. And he's got the flair going forward. It's a good combination to have that technical ability, the hard work, the desire to work for your team. And the sky's the limit for him. He can go anywhere with that attitude.
What did the manager think overall in the context of, the game's only now 24 hours away?
There were periods where we played some really fantastic stuff. There's also periods where they played fantastic stuff. It was really like a basketball game, particularly in the first half. We rode a little bit of luck. They had a great shot in the first minute, just marginally offside. They had a great chance just a moment or two after that. So they started the brighter. And it took us time to get going. But when we did, then we scored. Great goal by Nygren to take a bit of pressure off, give us the lead, and then Duran's 2 goals were fantastic. But the game is absolutely in the balance yet.
Barry, what do you make of Nygren? He's a bit different, isn't he? But he pops up and scores.
Yeah, he doesn't. You don't see him too much during the game, but listen, he's got that knack. He's scoring goals, and if you look at midfielders generally. Nowadays, the modern day midfielders are all pretty similar. They all want to go on the ball and they want to dictate, but no, he's a different type. He doesn't really get involved in build-ups. But one thing he knows where the back of the net is.
Charlie, what's your breakdown on him?
I wondered this year if he would continue the same as last year, because he didn't do an awful lot in midfield play in terms of getting involved in the build-up, but he take nothing away from his goals. But this year he's a wee bit better at that, but he's still got that ruthless instinct. His movement to land on the goal, the first goal of the night, is so underrated. The way he goes into the box, he's matched by another midfielder, and then he just peels out, and that's that instinct of knowing where the ball's going to drop. It drops, and he's then got the technique to volley it in. He's a right good player. That Barry mentions, a lot of players you see now coming through midfielders are doing a lot outside the box, but not doing anything inside it. And football will never change, Paul, no matter what happens. Or what people say, it's what happens in both boxes is what counts.
His timing's excellent. See, he's running into the box, third man running. They're so difficult to track, and he's just got that knack. It's just something that he's really good at. And if he continues the same goal scoring as he did last year, I'm sure there'll be a few clubs looking at him.
Charlie, that is the worry for Celtic, isn't it?
It is.
Celtic don't want to lose him in this window.
They won't lose him in this window. He'll stay again till next summer. But then that's the model that if he continues that form and does it in the Champions League, even he's going to go for big money. And again, you have to say Celtic have done great business if that's the case. So he's a big player for Celtic. He won't go in this window, and hopefully has a good Champions League campaign and earns himself a move, and then Celtic go again.
Is that definite? Charlie Mulgrew on the Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas says he's not going anywhere this window.
You can quote me on that.
Thank you.
He's gone nowhere.
He's gone nowhere.
He's gone nowhere.
Here's Martin O'Neill. You were talking earlier on about Champions League and quantity and quality, which Martin O'Neill did say a couple of weeks ago for Celtic, and I guess that's what they're doing at the moment, and they're getting a good return.
Well, I think that whatever we paid for Duran, I think he is. I think he has paid his ticket by now, and he's only into this fourth game. So I don't think it was an awful lot of money when you consider some of the fees that they're talking about for the Premier League. I think he's a real bargain at what, 4.5 million or something like that there. So yeah, and centre forward has given us a bit of presence there, which I don't think that we had last year, despite Dyson probably winning the league for us single-handedly. But it's nice to have that.
Certainly is quality that's been working for Celtic. Kieran's on, a Celtic fan, saying, what do you think of Mika Bauer? Here's what the manager thought after his first game.
He did really fine. It was a tough game to throw him into, I must admit, but he acquitted himself pretty well.
Like the look of him, we didn't see enough, What do you rate Mika Bauer?
I like him as a player, Paul.
Yeah.
He's small. He's not got a huge presence in the midfield, but he knows the game. He runs about, and you can tell he's intense the way he runs about the pitch. And he's got a nice technical ability. It's early days. He's got a hard act to follow in terms of angles. Sure. Over the last 6 months to a year, angles have been brilliant. So Bauer comes in, he's his own player. He'll play his own game. But the signs are encouraging straight away. But again, he's fitted into that midfield there, and a team there that's full of leaders and full of success that's been there last year. So it's a lot easier for him.
Kieran's also asking you, Barry, as a midfielder, what about Hatate, Rio Hatate? Is there a way that, he could still be there. There's only, 10 days to go. No offers so far. We know he wants to go probably, but could you see him stay?
No, I'd be surprised if he stays. I would be. And that's the reason why when you were asking me and Charlie about Celtic signings, I do think a midfielder is a priority, because he looks to me, if he's out the picture, I know he come on, but no, I think he's looking to go and play his football elsewhere.
He did a great job for Celtic, didn't he, for the first few years?
He was brilliant. I just wonder why nobody's came in and taken him, because he's proved he's a right good player. Maybe there's something going on in the background we don't know about. But if he goes, then all you've got really is McInnes sitting there, who can be a good player and add to the squad. But I think there'd be others needing to come in to really improve the team to make it a Champions League competitor.
But his record's been great, hasn't it? He's not caused any problems. I know it looks as though he's been out of favour, and it didn't look as though he was loving it last season. But he's 28. I know he's not 22, but
I don't think he's the best for the changing room in terms of the type of person he is, Paul. I don't think he's like I don't think he's bad. I just think he's quite quiet, and there was a time where we thought, is he down tools here at Celtic? I don't know if he was looking to get away. But he came back for that last year. He came on against Ibrox in the semi-final. Was it semi? Or the quarter-final? He came on and done brilliant. And he's when he's came on, he's applied himself. So, but just for some reason, it looks like he's decided he wants to leave.
And more players will have to go as well, won't they? Martin O'Neill has said that for a while. It's a big squad now.
Yeah, to bring
Yeah.
players in, you need to let players go and balance it out a bit. You don't want players hanging about causing issues because they're maybe not training with the team. You need to get a balanced squad that's training every day and a competitive squad. And with too many numbers, you don't have that.
Did you ever hang about and cause problems at any of your clubs?
I did hang about.
Yeah.
I didn't. I would
No.
never say I would somebody would
Yeah.
cause problems. It just wasn't in my nature. I used to see some lads lock themselves in hotel rooms to get moves and
Really?
kick balls away in training and cause issues because their agent would tell them he cause issues so you can get him out of move. I always found with Scottish players in general that never happened.
Yeah.
But it's just not in our nature. We're just all, or I don't know, we're just not like that in general. And I did hang about though at Dundee United at the end. I was hanging about a wee bit. They wanted me at the door, but I wanted some money to go, and we finally came to an agreement. I get sent to train with the 18s.
What was that like? Yeah.
Boys just out of school, and I was training with them. So it was a bit frustrating, but you tried to pass on your wisdom and help them, but it was frustrating and difficult because you're travelling an hour and 40 every day to go to St Andrews to train with under 18s. But
Oh, is that where they were?
it was a part and parcel of being in football, and
It's not the easiest road, is it? St Andrews, once you're over the bridge, there's no motorway.
no,
All
it's
right,
not. But there's worse things in life to turn up and go and play
Exactly.
football and
St Andrews.
train away. Aye, it was nice. It was nice, but I've been in that scenario before. It's one you just need to get your head down and train away and remember it's your job.
European week. We're back just after this.
The Go Radio Football Show with Scottish Gas.
Sure, Aunt Derek McInnes will
Is
find
there-
out next
Is there
Monday.
anybody actually won that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Aye.
Often, yeah. Derek McInnes will find out next Monday if his appeal is successful. If it isn't against the ban, then he'll miss, well, in the sense of he'll be up in the stand for the first Celtic game, the League Cup, Premier Sports Cup quarter final. Yeah, somebody will win £5,000. Yeah, they're quite hard. Have you tried it? The 10 questions.
Yeah, I listen to it most mornings.
Good man.
Aye.
An early walk,
Some of
Barry?
it-
Yeah.
I don't think they get enough time.
Yeah. Do you not?
No.
All right, I'll say that
I've
to
got to add
Rochelle.
a few seconds.
We'll check with the boss, see if we can change it for you. If you're just tuning in on YouTube, Charlie is in sunglasses, not just because of the good weather today in Glasgow, but also a wee surgery that he elected to have there. But you're feeling okay, Charlie? Yeah.
Feel good, Paul?
You're absolutely fine. Even better when you're closer to the microphone and we'll hear it there. We're going to hear from Martin O'Neill now, who's been speaking in Austria ahead of the game tomorrow night. Couple of updates. First of all, on Austin Trusty.
Yeah, he's travelled. Yes, he was. He had a bit of upset stomach this morning, so he just didn't train. But he's with us.
But he's there. That's good news. Alistair Johnson, who obviously, well, I don't think he's there. He's been out for the last couple of weeks. What's the latest?
Yeah, there's definitely something there, and I think that I think the prognosis is really sometime in October for him.
Sometime in October. Charlie, your reaction to that?
Unfortunate for him, but it might work out well because Celtic then get to keep him till January. So if you get him by October, you get a couple of months out of him before then potentially bids start coming in January and rumours start coming again. But you know, Alistair Johnson's, you can just tell he's a good guy and a good teammate, and he'll work his Celtic and back in the team and then be available for the squad when it comes. In the meantime, gives Kobe Donovan time to establish himself and prove that he's a worthy replacement if he does go in January.
Alistair Johnson, Barry, the kind of player that if you came up against him, it'd be a bit feisty, wouldn't it? But he's a real competitor.
Listen, I think it's one player that Celtic could struggle to replace. I know Donovan done well last Thursday, but if they do lose him, which I think they will when he becomes fully fit, I think he's a hard one to replace. Because what did they get him for? £2 million? Good bit of business that.
Martin O'Neill was asked today, will he strengthen in the defence between now and the end of the window?
Yeah, I think that we'd need to have a look. I mean, if you consider that Kieran is essentially our only left-sided fullback in that sense, we'll have a little look. But I really will not be not concentrating on anything at all until after the game, regardless of what the result is or whichever competition we happen to be in. Then we've got some days before the transfer deadline, and I hope that we will get some people in.
Charlie, the young player coming up from Chelsea, it's just about done, isn't it? As well.
Is that the right back?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know much about him, Paul. I know he's had some injury issues, but if he's been at Chelsea and he's young, you imagine he's got ability.
No left back.
Is he a left back?
But he might be coming.
Yeah, regardless. Is that the left? Is that the backup left back? Maybe then they need somebody back up to do a job. I just wonder about young players coming up for Chelsea, right? He's obviously a good player, but surely Celtic have a young 18-year-old in the system, or 19-year-old that can step in and be the backup and give it. Well, I know for definite there is one there, a young lad, and I wish I knew his name. I've totally forgot his name, but I've watched him play. He's been away with the first team pre-season. He's got somebody that's got quality. I know he's highly rated in there. I'd like to see him being given an opportunity to be the backup rather than bringing a young lad up for Chelsea. That's my opinion on it.
I agree with that. That's why you've got an academy.
So
I mean, I get bringing in a lone player with a bit of experience.
Yeah.
But if you're bringing in, like for instance, I know Mikey Moore done brilliant for Rangers last year, but surely you should have somebody around about that age and that ability within the academy that's maybe not ready, which Mikey Moore wasn't ready when he first came up, but obviously he progressed into being Rangers' best performer last year. But what's the point of academy?
And Finlay Curtis would have got more game time. Look what he did at Kilmarnock. Anyway, back at Celtic, Martin O'Neill said, Celtic are going to strengthen no matter what.
No, I hope that regardless of the result, that I think that because it's European football, we're going to be in it anyway, and that will take us through up until to the end of January, if it was the same as last year. Therefore, I think that no, we will still need to strengthen.
What about the game? 3 up as they go into tomorrow?
We are playing away from home. I felt that the game was, particularly in the first half, was very, very open, and we took our chances with some really great goals as well. I expect to be put under pressure quite a lot during the course of it, but we just can't sit in there, and that's not our intention at all. I feel as if that we're capable of scoring a goal in the game, and that's at least grounds for optimism. I think that it'll be a tough old night for us, but we're capable.
Tough old night, but capable. We'll come back to the Celtic game in a moment or two. What do you think about Hibs Ghent? We won't see you before the games on Thursday. We will with you, Charlie, but Barry, we won't. Hibs Ghent, what do you reckon, Barry? A good chance? 0-0?
Yeah, to be fair, a good result over there. Disappointing missing a penalty. They're a good team, Gent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go. No, I'm going to go.
Are you?
Gent, yeah.
In the Belgians?
Yeah, Motherwell out.
All right, sorry. No,
Hibs out, Motherwell out.
You think Motherwell are going to go out 3-1 down? Of course, they're going over to Freiburg. Yeah.
Hearts out,
yeah.
Rangers through.
Okay. Scoreline for Rangers? It won't really matter as long as they go through, but Charlie, what do you
2-1.
feel? 2-1. Barry?
Yeah, 1 each or 2-1 Rangers.
Derek McInnes had been speaking about needing more additions. I mean, one of the good things for Rangers the other night was McCann and his performance.
Very much so, to be honest. You know, when you come from the MLS, a different type of football, you've seen a lot of games in the MLS, it's all a bit slow and a lot it's pedestrian-like. But what we did like about him when we watched him was his ability to go man for man, his ability to not lose a foot race, and his calmness in the ball. It's a different type of football, obviously, the MLS to what he's having to experience here, but I do think he's dealt with everything we've asked him, and I think it's right that you mentioned him, to be honest, because I think he's come in where the team's not been at his best, and he's coming from the outside in and just trying to settle in, and I think there's a lot of them in that sense where there's those adjustments. There's a lot of young players, a lot of players signed that we're trying to integrate and get those sort of connections, but he's done really well, and I think there's a lot more to come for him as well.
Barry, many changes for you if you were in charge at Rangers for the game?
No, I don't think he'll move away from what he went with on Thursday. Then I don't know the situation with Nico.
Mm-hmm. It sounds as though he's wait, we don't
that
know.
Was that?
We don't know.
I did like Nico beside Dragojevic. I like that combination. But who knows? Who knows? What Rangers need to do is find a way to come away with a positive result and make sure they get through against the Czechs.
And Barry, do you think Hearts are going to go through?
No.
No, you don't.
No.
And
I think no.
Sorry, no.
No, Freiburg.
Yeah,
they were in the final last year.
Indeed.
They're a cut above, but no, I don't see Motherwell, Hearts or Hibs progressing.
But you see, obviously, Rangers scoreline. What do you reckon?
1 each, 2-1 Rangers.
And Charlie, you think similar? Right, last 90 seconds. Celtic tomorrow night. Charlie, how are they going to approach it? They're not going to go gung-ho, they're 3 up.
I think they need to approach it like it's 0-0.
Right.
Now, that's really hard, but you need to start the game, I think, the first 10, 15 minutes. Like, you need to win it. You don't need to go gung-ho and throw all sorts of people forward, but you need to go and try and play like you would play a normal game, league game, try and win the game. And naturally, you'll then fall back into the second half and defend. Keep it tight. The longer you keep it tight, a 0-0 at half time is an amazing result for Celtic. Then you can come out and really have a go and defend your goal in the second half. But that's the most important thing. Keep it tight early. I think it's going to be, having said all that, 3-2. 5 goals in the game.
And are they going to score? Do you think instead of going to go behind and keep their nerve and fight back?
Yeah, I think they'll go behind and they'll go behind again, and it'll become a wee bit dodgy, and then Celtic will then score and it'll be back and forth a wee bit. It'll be in the balance, but I think with a 3-goal cushion it'll be enough to hold on.
A basketball game, which is they described tonight. Barry, what do you reckon?
I think Celtic will get beat. I think it'll be 2-1 Lask. They'll go 2-0 up and Celtic will get a goal back.
Barry, thank you so much. Speak to you soon. Charlie as well. A lot in the show tonight. Ollie McBurney, will he be in the Scotland squad? Surely he will be for the games coming up in September. A transfer window will close in 10 days' time, and we'll keep you right up to date. And the other headline today was that it's going to be Tony Docherty and Stephen Naismith who are the new under-21 coaches. That's it for tonight. Tomorrow night, Andy Walker will be here along with me and Mark Guidi. Have a great evening.